Hello and welcome to the Talk Villa podcast. I'm your host, Sameet Paul, and there is unfortunately more disappointment and frustration as we look back at our painful 3-0 defeat to Crystal Palace this past weekend. Now, it really has been a dismal start to the season for Villa, as that's now just 1 point from our opening 3 games of the season, and we've yet to score a single goal. Given our track record against Palace, we possibly should have known what was coming on Sunday night, but it doesn't make it any less disheartening and hard to take. We'll have a deep dive into the game with my 5 key talking points shortly, but it's fair to say that the international break now comes at a good time for Unai Emery and the players, as it will hopefully give them an opportunity to regroup, gain clarity over who's here for the fight this season now that the transfer window is closed, and we've got to focus on stopping this slide as quickly as possible. We've had setbacks during the Emery reign, but I don't feel as though any of them have been this concerning or sustained, and so this is a difficult moment, the most difficult moment that he's faced since he took charge. The Villa boss spoke to Villa TV after the game, and here's what he had to say about our 3-0 defeat to Crystal Palace.
Good evening. Sad for the supporters, sad for the result after we were being successful here at home for a long time, not losing. We played the first half, I think, good. We needed more, maybe offensively. We had one very good chances with Oli Watkins. We didn't concede a lot, but we made one mistake. They scored. Of course, after it, the second half, we were again trying to speak about how we played the first half and how we were keeping the same game plan and then tried to do something more. And we started very well. We were dominating, we were getting their balls, we were creating some chances. But the second goal was, when we received the second goal, was the difficult moment. And of course, then the third goal as well was punishing a lot. But we have to accept this defeat, and we have to try to keep balance. And overall, when we are being successful, we can feel more frustrated when we are losing like today 3-0. But now we are going to break this week. We are going to have a lot of players with the national team. Of course, this is our development. It's the consequence of how we are increasing our level, getting better level as a team and with the performance of the players. And there are a lot of players in the national team. But when they are coming back, we are going to work here this week, and we are going to wait then for the next week and again try to build the team. Closing tomorrow at 7 p.m. transfer window as well. We are expecting we can improve something, and hopefully, and I am confident we are going to come back this moment we are now.
That was Unai Emery speaking to Villa TV after the game. So on to my 5 key talking points then, and we'll start with the starting lineup, as a certain Emiliano Martinez was absent from the squad. Now, I was tempted to do an Emery and just repeat Marco Bizot's name 10 times and move on, but there is real disappointment in Martinez. He had a choice this weekend, I felt, much like Mark Gahey did, with both of them having ongoing speculation over their futures. While Emery felt as though Martinez wasn't 100% focused and left him out of the matchday squad altogether, he even said as much after the game. Gahey maintained his professionalism, he captained his side, he led by example, he played a decisive role in their win with a goal as well, and although he hasn't gone on to leave Crystal Palace, which many expected him to do so, in contrast, it was almost like a half-hearted Alexander Isak impersonation from Martinez, and I felt as though he let his teammates down while we're going through a difficult moment. If he wants to leave, which all the reports would suggest is indeed the case, fine, off you go, thank you for your service, but you still owe it to your coach, your teammates and the fans to be professional up until that point of leaving. Mings had a pop at him in his post-match interview, as he spoke about staying professional and the players that want to be here must stay calm. Or I feel as though it was a perceived pop at him, should I say. And I think it was going to be really interesting now to see what Martinez's approach is after the break to reintegrate, or if he'll continue to search for an exit. The transfer window is still open in Turkey and Saudi Arabia and a couple of other territories, so we'll see if that's still an option available to him, or if he is going to have to reintegrate and force his way back into the team. My second point is the alarming lack of movement and desire from some of the players. Now, we certainly improved after half-time as we pushed for an equaliser for a decent period in the game for us, but I still felt there was such a glaring lack of energy, desire, ideas, creativity, tempo and rhythm about our play. Many of the same things that I said about the performance against Brentford. The Palace fans were olaying in the first half as our players walked about the pitch closing down, and when we did have possession, barely anyone was making an effort to show for the ball and give their teammate an option. Now, I get it, this is partly tactical too, as we've seen many teams now find a way of figuring us out and shutting us down, and that's something for Emery to fix and find a solution for. But I honestly feel that many of the players are absolutely underperforming, even when they're doing the basics, and I'm talking about movement, finding space, and giving their teammates an option to pass to. Point number 3, Emi Buendia was our shining light on a miserable night. Now, whether you think Buendia is good enough for us or not, the one thing he has never done is show a lack of commitment or desire to succeed. He looked up for it from the minute he came on, and that ability to find space, give his teammate an option, and start to link things together more effectively for us made us a bigger threat, and they were all noticeable aspects of his performance. The decision's now been made that he's going to stay with us, despite ongoing speculation over the summer that he might move on. And I really think Buendia's got an important role to play for us this season. There are going to be difficult times again, and he is one person that you can guarantee will show character and courage to try things in the attacking third. He'll never show a lack of energy or a lack of urgency for us. And I think for regular readers of the website and the newsletter, you'll know how big of a fan I am of Buendia and always have been. And so I'm hoping that although he's probably still going to have a limited role this season, that he can make an important contribution and play his part for us. The fourth point is that we've got to cut out the defensive mistakes which have creeped back in or arguably have never really fully gone away. Now, I don't like singling players out, but on this occasion I'm looking at Matty Cash, who was guilty of 2 errors. Firstly, by playing Kamada onside in the lead up to the penalty, and then he gave the ball away really cheaply in the build up to the second. Cons has got a part to play in that as well, as his poor clearance that led to Gahey's strike from distance. And then if you're looking back to last weekend's performance against Brentford, I criticised both Mings and Power for not doing enough to stop the goal. We're simply just making our lives more difficult for ourselves, and that has to stop. We have to have a solid defensive foundation, regardless of our struggles at the other end of the pitch. Obviously, we need to find a way to score goals too. The balance is critical, but that starts with having a solid defensive foundation on which the players up front can go on and win games for us. The final point is that there are concerning signs at the moment, and we've got to find answers after the international break. Now, for me personally, I feel there's 2 paths this could go down. We've been boosted by the deadline day reinforcements, and I'm hoping that they help evolve and find solutions for us, and we come out of the break with a win to boost confidence and get some positivity back into the team and putting a strong run together. That is the ideal next step, obviously. In contrast, there still is a risk that there's this hangover from the results that we've had, and all the issues off the pitch that we've had over the summer continue to impact us. It's a dangerous slide that risks bigger questions being asked as the season goes on if we don't turn things around. Again, I don't want to sound dramatic, and I don't want to sort of make this into a bigger issue than it potentially is, but there's obviously something not right at the minute. I think we've all seen enough football during our time to know that there's some sort of disconnect with the players who aren't as effective in their roles as a collective, as part of the Emery game plan. This is not the same identity, the same rhythm, the same flow to our play, the same energy that we've seen for 2.5 years. There are certain major aspects missing from our performances. Emery spoke about the transfer deadline being an important checkpoint to get past, and I'm hoping that we can now focus and regain our energy over the break, and those that are staying, that want to be here for this fight this season, we'll see if we can start turning things around at Everton on September 13th. Now, it has been a busy deadline day in the transfer window. We've seen Victor Lindelof arrive, and we are, at the time of recording, waiting for Jadon Sancho and Harvey Elliott to be announced officially. I will have a bonus episode coming out later this week regarding a specific transfer window, but also analysing our transfer strategy as a whole since Emery arrived and Monchi and the management team came to the club. But just looking at the 3 signings on deadline day, I think all 3, maybe Elliott less so, have all sort of had a split opinion and bit of criticism as to whether or not they're a smart move or not. The Lindelof one, I wouldn't have said at the beginning of the summer that Victor Lindelof would be a smart addition to this Villa squad. But looking at it now that he has arrived, it does make sense to me. It's a free transfer first and foremost, at a time when Villa are financially restrained. So it's a sensible move in that regard, that it's a free transfer and we've saved the fees to sort of, those resources can be used elsewhere. He's experienced. He's got over 280 appearances for Manchester United, I believe. He's got 71 caps for Sweden. He's a leadership figure. and he's versatile. He mentioned in his first interview with the club that he does see himself as a centre-half now, but he's got the versatility to play in other roles if needed. So I do feel as though he is a useful addition. And look, he's not going to come in as a starter. We know what we've signed him for. He's there as depth, as competition to push Konza, to keep him on his toes, and then to come in when he needs to be rested or if there's a rotation need for various competitions if we're looking to challenge on forefronts this season. So for me, I think it is a decent signing. It's a decent addition to the squad, and hopefully it proves to be on the pitch. In relation to Sancho, I think it's a gamble, but I'm hoping it's one that pays off. We saw how Rashford was revitalised under Emery last season in the second half of the campaign. I'm hoping for a similar situation with Sancho, who's got a lot to prove, wants to get his career back on track. Incredibly, he's still only 25 years old, so he's got a big part of his career coming up. Whether that's with us long term, who knows? It is just a straight loan, so he may well return to United and find another home next season. But for now, it's an area that we needed to improve in. We need creativity, we need flair, we need a goal threat. And hopefully when he's in top form, if he can find that top form with Villa, he can provide that for us and hopefully be a really important addition to the squad to give us a different dynamic in the attacking third as well. And it's a similar story for Harvey Elliott. Obviously very talented, struggled for game time at Liverpool last season after coming back from injury, but highly rated, highly regarded, and he's going to get potentially a more prominent role at Villa where he can showcase his full quality and his full potential. Technically gifted, good on the ball, creative, has that bit of flair about him as well, and is a goal threat. So he ticks a lot of important boxes to be a good fit for this Emery system and style of play. And hopefully him, Sancho, Lindelof, and going back further, Bizot and Gassond can all raise the level in training, give everyone a bit of a lift after a difficult start to the season, and hopefully get us back on track starting at Everton in a couple of weeks' time. So that's a wrap on this episode of the Talk Villa podcast. As I said earlier, there will be a special bonus episode coming out later this week and a bonus article on my Substack looking back at the transfer window and asking if Villa's transfer strategy is working. So please do check that out. Thanks for listening. I really do appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Please subscribe to the pod or channel depending on where you're listening, either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube, as I really hope to build a great community of Villa fans here. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think of Villa's transfer window, of the defeat to Palace, and what needs to change and what needs to be fixed moving forward. Please give the episode a like or leave a review if you've enjoyed it. Check out talk-villa.com for news throughout the week, and please sign up to the Talk Villa Plus newsletter on Substack. All the details will be in the description of this podcast. But for more information, take a look at the website or at the Talk Villa on X. Again, unfortunately this week, it's not the result we wanted, but hopefully we come out of the international break in a good place and ready to correct things. Until then, though, up the Villa.